Welcome to Telecuento News English. This is a space with integration, accents, and flavors where we are to try to connect and bridge two communities. We are welcome today and the mayor of San Jose, John Josendel, who is looking for re-election this year. He won in 2022. He also, if he wants in the primaries and is moving to the general election next week. And it's the first time that we have this opportunity to talk with him directly about these topics that maybe are worried to the Latino community, but also to these American communities that are more close to the Latino community. Welcome. Thank you for being with us in this space.
Thank you for having me.
Well, for you, it's a different way because you already have all 4 years in the position, and that making you, I want you tell us, how do you feel was these 4 years for you? What do you accomplishment and what do you feel need to move better?
Well, we've done a lot. I mean, it's been 4 years. It's been a learning experience for me, but we've done a survey to go out to the people and find out. We've done a lot of things to update, and I don't think you've seen it yet, but even the city came out with a brand new website, and we've updated our website so that, again, it will take all languages, which is something you and I have talked about a lot.
Yes.
But there's a lot of growth in the city. We've got a lot of new companies coming, new entertainment venues, and so we're doing a lot for the people.
So in this point about what you say about new companies, you came from the private sector, and usually it's a vision of a candidate or as a politician that came from the private sector to somebody that maybe was run always in the public sector. One of the questions that I have, and I think this is a question for the Latino community, but also for everybody. San Jose, you have better numbers probably than me, around 25% of the industry is manufacturing. In the country is around 10%. We are being here in the past year a lot about AI and artificial intelligence and the impact they can have in manufacturers. How the city is prepared for that? How do you feel the city, if is prepared, or how will be doing in order to mitigate the situation? I came from a conference right now, and it's two visions, honest, for the private sector. One, what is reduce costs, and move employees out. Others is let's figure out how we produce more. So
what we've tried to do with most of the companies, and Alltech is a good example. That's one of our major employers in St. Joe, and where they've brought in automated welding, they still have individuals that work with that equipment. And I think what we try to do as far as the AI is concerned, I think you see more and more of it, but it's kind of in a stage right now where it's not as trusting, I think, as people. You can kind of tell if something's done with AI versus if it's not. And I think, you can't take people out of the equation. I mean, it is very important from my point of view. It is very important that people are involved. People make the difference in everything we do. So a lot of the companies we're working with and a lot of the companies we're trying to attract are very people oriented. One of the areas we've worked with a lot is workforce development. And in St. Joe, we believe in creating our own workforce. So we've given new opportunities, whether it be at Hilliard Tech or out at Missouri Western, where you can go and start a degree either as a junior college or as a full college, and you can transfer back and forth without any difficulty. So that if you want to get into welding, if you want to get into hands-on type, you can do that. But if you then decide you want to go into engineering, you have that access also. So we're trying to create our own and make it work.
And this create our own came in for my next question. You talked about Missouri Western, and I know that the city signed some kind of partnership with the Missouri Western in terms of create their own workforce. partnership between the city. So can you tell me a little bit about this partnership
Yeah,
idea?
what we've done, and we've actually got a couple of employees that have already done it. They actually had some years of experience and they wanted to go back. And what we're trying to do now is there are discounts that are offered city employees that can go and get their education further along. And the city will actually help them do that. So that if it applies to your job or if it's an area that you really want to work in, we'll work with you and do that. And our assistant city manager actually just went back to school. She had gotten, a number of years and she went out in the workforce and she was just really into her job. And she decided that she'd really like to upgrade and, learn some different things. So she was able to go through and through working with Missouri Western, they helped her put a program together that allowed her to graduate last December. And I think it was very effective for her and it was very effective for us as the city in that here we gave an employee the ability to further her education.
So I love this interview, and we have this conversation private before. I was privileged to have that, but I want to bring together because I think it is a lot is happening.
I
So
agree.
you talked about housing, about people in St. Joseph. Is a survey, I believe it's a survey, the Community Foundation sent where it was, they do every 5 years and they check how the population is moving in Northwest Missouri. And in this survey, 25% of the people say that they want to move out of the area in the next 3 years. Something that they are working on, and is something that is the part that maybe is hard to have the discussion. So
It,
how the city will be working, to
yes.
if the work, or let me go backwards. The city, what
Okay.
is in the city? The city is looking for attract or for retain what the population they have, because it's different in strategies for
It's
attract.
actually a combination of the two, and that's really a great point that you're bringing up. We did a survey earlier last year, and they talk about what were the three biggest things, and one was obviously safety was number one, code enforcement number two, and communication. And we as the city are trying to communicate. Well, one of the other areas that we've recognized in the city that is a big issue is housing. And just to give you a, for instance, for a city, there's a survey that's been done, for different cities. And for a city, it should be that you have 1,000 rental units for every 10,000 people that live in your city. And St. Joseph's a city of about 72,000 people. So that means we should have about 7,200 apartments that are available or, rental units. We currently have about 2,200. So we're about, 6,000 short of where we should be. So we're out actively recruiting different developers and different people to come in and either refurbish or rebuild. We're doing in fill-in housing to where we'll go into a community and we'll put new homes in there, and we're trying to make them, at all levels of housing so that people can come in and start our homes, and then people can move up to a larger home if they need that, and give the different increments in there so that people have the ability to come and stay. You talk about trying to retain. One of the things we're trying to do as far as retaining, we have, as we've got a fantastic park system, and
I think
we're
it is one of the best.
it is honestly
I
one of the.
I always bragging about that part. Let me tell you.
Well, right now we're in the process of redoing Krug Park, and we've got the new bike trails, and anybody that's been on those really loves the park trails. We broke ground earlier this year on a new aquatic center that is going to be state of the art for this part of the country. So again, getting people to be able to come here. And one of the things we did with that, they were talking about building just a pool that would be outside that could only be used 2 months out of the year. We recognized that we wanted something that could be available year round. So in partnership, which is kind of new, in partnership to the YMCA, we set up to where we contributed to that. They're building the new pool, and St. Joseph citizens will have the ability to go in at a very low rate. but we'll have transportation from any part of the city to there so that people can use that pool. And it will also be able to teach kids to swim. It'll be able to work with senior citizens who go in for aerobics and things such as that in the water. So again, we're looking at the entire population, and how do we make it that you want to be here?
And okay, so my next question will go in, and I highly appreciate that you have this opportunity and that this is live, because I love life, because nobody can say that we could something and move something. It's about, you talked about this partnership, and this is my experience, and I will say I truly believe there is a group in San Joseph that is able to have fantastic partnership and move us to forward, but it's other groups. San Jose is a city that's still very divided. And even if we wanted to go together as a mayor, it's part of your responsibility, figure out how to make everybody, try to work and try to move this division, and it's not only happening in San Jose, it's happening in many cities. Let me be clear, so how do you thinking now? You have your 4 year of experience, right? You know everybody, different group. How do you plan this if you are re-elect? Use this next 4 year for try to integrate everybody, figure out how, with even very fundamental difference, in how they see the stuff. At least we can find the common ground in the points where everybody maybe have one idea that everybody can be cheerleader together.
Right. Well, I'll back up by saying I know, I've been fortunate. You and I have had a number of different conversations. So I know where you're coming from. And I also truly believe in what you're saying and how do we bring it all together. Um, in St. Joe, and I'll be the first to admit it, if I could change one thing, it would be some of the attitude, because for every good thing we do, you have naysayers that are very vocal and very much out on social media. So, trying to get people thinking in a positive attitude and making sure that, I don't care who you are. If you want to call me and talk to me about an idea, and we can work together to get ideas, and I can get you with the right people that can help those ideas come to fruition, that's what I want to do. Because, or for instance, I know you and I have talked many times about language and how do we make sure that we do that. Well, that's why I said that's when I started out talking about the new website. And there's a little guy that you can actually click on, and whatever language you can go to that, so that that's a starting point. Trying to make sure everybody understands that we have uh, a lot of people in St. Joe, and if we all work together, we all grow from it. You mentioned that I had the opportunity in my career to travel all over the world. And in doing that, you see that there are a lot of different languages, personalities, and everything. But when you can bring the people together and listen to what people have to say, then I think we can accomplish a lot together.
And that made me, you talked about your traveling. Yesterday, at least for us as a migrants that live in this community, as a Latinos, was very important day when we saw what happened in the Central High School. This assembly where we have 47 countries representing one school. 47 is a lot of different way to see the planet. Each of them have different culture, different language, different views. The what is it? So with that in mind, how we can figure out, or how do you thinking these groups, they even what they are here, they still be isolate, I even for myself, I don't know the 47 countries, so, and I am part of this community, you want to call
Right.
it, so how we can figure out plans or projects that came from our city, they can be able to make these people maybe more connect in the community, maybe more able even to the industry realize the talent they have, because that is something that we talked to. Many of them came here, they want to have San Jose in the house as their home, but they left because it's other better opportunities outside. So how we can
Right.
put the balance between the needs and what we have.
It's interesting because I'll give you a couple of things that I think we're doing different that you may or may not be aware of at this point. Um, Over the last 4 years, and you talk about, what have we done? There are 14 departments within the city of St. Joseph, 14 different director heads. In the past 4 years, we've changed 11 of the 14. And one of the things that we changed was the city manager, and we brought in a new city manager who was from out of town. So again, we get some new, fresh ideas. One of the ideas that he brought, and as you know, we've got what we call the Community Alliance, and it's made up of the city, the county, the chamber, Mosaic, the school district, the university. Everybody's involved in that group, and we come together, once a month or probably twice a month, and we talk about ideas on what we can do. Well, the city came up with an idea, and what we did working with the school district, we've set up like it's like a junior uh, city council, and it's got representatives from all the different schools, and they're being given a free hand to come in and say, okay, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you think needs to be changed? Because you know, I'm trying to live for today and get us through tomorrow and where we're going, but they're going to be the ones that can tell us where we need to be 10 years from now and 20 years from now.
Are you
And
having
here
an idea yet for this? I love
they
that.
actually they've had a couple of meetings already, and the last meeting they had just last week, they talked about homelessness and how do you deal with homelessness, and they came up with some different ideas. They're not afraid to get ideas, but the other side is they get to hear the city side of, well, how do we deal with homelessness? What are you doing, and what's it cost, and how do you do it? And they understand that better. So again, if each one of them talks to two or three people, then we're getting the word out and trying to make it work in a different way.
And I love what you are doing. Let's talk about communication. You say the communication is a problem, and it's no problem only here. Again, it's problem in a lot of cities in the Midwest. I can tell you. But it's, the first part of this is acknowledgement and recognition, what you know it, and probably I believe that this is what we are doing right now because it's our first time. So we appreciate that you are doing that. How we can be sure that everybody in the city can know. You told me about the website and the language, the opportunity. I want to recognize that in the past 2 or 3 years, I start see also how holiday for the special communities are being recognized in the city website, Facebook page. We start see this kind of stuff that is maybe not a big change, but it's the first steps to move forward, and
Every little step makes a difference.
exactly every little step make the difference. So what will be your ideal plan for really move the city in a way where, as you say, if it's something is happening, we no need to listen people in the Facebook group what are very famous in this
Right.
area, and listen directly for our authorities, for our city. Are you working in a new plan, something that you can
Well,
tell us?
one of the things we're doing communication wise is, and any resident of St. Joe in the fall of last year got a magazine called Connect, and it was telling you about what was going on in the city. Another version of that is coming out in the spring. So we're going to do it every spring and every fall. As I'm sitting here thinking about this, why not put a page in there in Spanish? Why not put a page in there to where that gives you the contact information or where you can go for the different things and do it in Spanish? So you've given me an idea just today sitting here thinking about it as to how we get that word out and or put something like that on the website so that there's a page where they can go and feel comfortable to get the information and communicate.
Yeah, because it's something very important. Um, the time go fast. I
It
can tell you
does.
for hours, and but this is a very good. But I also want to asking on you because as a leaders, we know many times when the stuff start going wrong, and many times we're thinking. So one thing that you was expect to be very good and maybe wasn't good. We all have a stuff. Maybe wasn't what you was expect in these 4 years. Anything that you can see that can tell, and well, this wasn't what I was looking.
Well, Yeah, no, I've been here 4 years, and I think we've got a lot of momentum going in the right direction. We've got a lot of really good people that are now in positions, and we're communicating. It all starts with being able to talk to each other and get ideas. And how do we move forward with the uh, approach from everyone? It's not one person versus somebody else. It's a group of us that are trying to get a movement to where this is the place you want to be. I was born and raised here. I moved away and came back. I want other people to feel comfortable in being here and wanting to be here.
And that will be my last question. What do you want to tell to not only the Latino community, because we are talking to in English and we will put it later on pieces in Spanish. What do you want to tell to the community that is not for here, with the choice San Joseph as their home?
Well,
That now they feel that this is their place and that
yes,
they care about San Joseph because
exactly.
it's where their kids are growing. Many now these kids start have kids, so they are born and raised and growing in San Joe. What do you want to tell them then?
I want them to know that this is their home too. I want them to know that they are welcome. And anytime, and again, as I've said to you, I'm out there trying to talk to people. This is a start. I'm happy to come back. I'm happy to talk. I'm happy to meet with groups and hear them, because the first step in making things work is being able to listen. And that's what we're trying to do. But you are welcome. And this is your home, and we want you to feel that way.
Well, we appreciate that, and you definitely will come back. If you are re-elected, you will come back, and if you are not, you are welcome to, because we want to have citizens here. So you
Well, I
definitely.
hope I'm elected, and anybody that can vote, I want them to vote on Tuesday, because that is the election. Because the other side is, and I would say to everybody, get involved. Don't be afraid to, get out and meet with the different groups. You have done very well in how you interject yourself into different groups and different communities, and that makes a difference. And the more people that can do that, the better they're going to feel. The more they're going to feel at home.
Yes. Well, we appreciate the time is almost over. Thank you. We hope you come back here. You start. We can have this conversation with the topics. If again you are elect on Tuesday. Tuesday is election dates in San Jose. Several positions are on place, so it's not only the mayor. We have for the school district. We have for the city council. So it's a new group of leaders who will be start working, and we hope the best for everybody, because
Agree.
ultimately the person that win, even if you don't like it or you don't feel it, their success is the success of everybody. So
That's
we need
right.
to be cheerleaders of the person that win, even if it's don't cover our own expectations.
That's
I-
right. Well, we want to do it to where we can all work together, because we're all in this together. We're on a little planet, and time goes fast. So the more we can work together, the better we're all going to be.
that's right. We live in. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.